Today in geometry, we're going to look at section 3.5, writing equations of lines. So yesterday we looked at graphing the lines. So now we're going to learn how to write the equations. Call that slope-intercept form of a line looks like y equals mx plus b, where m is equal to your slope and b is equal to the y-intercept. Again, this should be a review for us from Algebra 1. So let's review this. Write the equation of the line with the given slope and y-intercept. So we're going to start out nice and easy, where they give me the slope, they give me the y-intercept. We simply have to plug them into this formula. So number 1, the slope is 2/3, the y-intercept is -5. So I would write y equals, I'm going to replace m with 2/3 x. I'm going to replace b with -5. So y equals 2/3 x minus 5 has a slope of 2/3 and a y-intercept of -5. Number 2, the slope is -1/2. The y-intercept is 0. So again, y equals, replace m with -1/2 and then x. And then my y-intercept is 0. I do not have to write plus 0. Okay, so my equation is simply y equals -1/2 x. Number 3, the slope is 0, b is -2. Okay, so remember we are going to memorize what types of lines have a slope of 0 and what type of lines have a slope of undefined. So what type of line has a slope that's equal to 0? So I can go up 0, I can go over as much as I want to. Remember what type of line this is? Horizontal. So I know this is going to be a horizontal line. So horizontal lines only have the variable y equals, no x. So no x in the equation. So my equation is simply y equals the y value that they give me, -2. Okay. So then let's look at number 4. Slope is undefined. Here they tell me b equals 16. My slope is undefined. What kind of a line has a slope of undefined? That means I can go up or down as much as I want, but I can't go over any off of my line. So what type of line is this? Vertical line. Remember, vertical lines, they cross through the x-axis only. So they have no y's in the equation. This is simply an x equals, and then the value that they give to me, 16. If you memorize slope of 0 is a horizontal, means y equals some number. Slope is undefined, means vertical, x equals some number. Those should be very easy questions on the test. All right, let's look at number 5. The slope is -6. The y-intercept is 7/8. So again, I'm just going to replace those two numbers in my equation. Y equals, instead of m, -6 times x plus 7/8. So that's writing the equation in slope-intercept form when they tell me what the slope is, when they tell me what the y-intercept is. Now let's look at writing equations from graphs. Our steps to do this: number 1, identify the slope. We've already looked at how do we identify a slope given a graph. We find our 2 points, count how far up and over or down and over. Next, we identify the y-intercept. Remember, the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. And finally, we write the equation. And again, we're going to put it in slope-intercept form. So let's look at this first picture. I can look at the graph from left to right, and I see that it's increasing. So I know that my slope should be positive. So identify what is the slope. Here are the 2 points that they give to me. So how far up and over. So count my boxes. 1, 2, 3. I go up 3. And I go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope is a positive 3/4. So now identify the y-intercept. The y-intercept is this point right here. Where is it crossing the y-axis? That's -4. Now that we have identified those from the graph, it's just like the problems that we were doing where they gave us those. Plug those into our equation. So y equals 3/4 x minus 4. That's the equation of that graph that they gave to me. Let's try that again. Number 2. Again, pick 2 points on your graph, 1 and 2. This time I notice from left to right my graph is decreasing. So that means that my slope is negative. So to get from one point to the next, I'm going to go down instead of up. So down and over. I went down 1 over 1. So my slope is -1 over 1, or just -1. My y-intercept, this point right here, where is it crossing the y-axis? +5. So now again, just plug those two numbers into my equation. So y equals -1x, or I don't have to write -1, I can just write -x plus 5. There's that equation of that graph. All right, let's go to the back of the notes. Number 3. And notice, what kind of line is this? Straight up and down. This is a vertical line. We have memorized vertical lines have what kind of a slope? Undefined. Vertical line, it only crosses through the x, so that means there are no y's in my equation. So my equation is simply x equals, where is it crossing the x-axis? -5. Look at number 4. What kind of a line do I have? I have a horizontal line. Again, we have memorized the slope for a horizontal line. It is 0. Horizontal line only goes through the y-axis. That means there's no x in my equation. So my equation simply says y equals, what's this y value, what's crossing? +2. Again, we have memorized those two. Those two types of questions should be very quick and easy questions come test day. Please memorize those. I cannot stress that enough. You must memorize vertical lines have an undefined slope and only have an x in their equation. Horizontal lines have a slope of 0 and only have a y in their equation. All right, so now we're going to switch gears and we're going to write equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. So step number 1, we're going to find the slope. Step number 2, we're going to find the y-intercept. And step number 3, we're going to write the equation. So example number 1, it says write the equation of the line passing through the point -1, 1 that is parallel to the line y equals 2x minus 3. The very first thing I want to do is find my slope. So my slope, that's going to be parallel to this line. So let's recall from a few days ago, parallel lines have what kind of slopes? The same slope. So if the slope in this equation that they give to me, y equals 2x minus 3, my slope is 2, what is my parallel slope going to be? Also 2. So now I have a slope, I have a point, -1, 1. I'm going to use my equation, y equals mx plus b. I need to find my y-intercept, that's b. I'm going to replace y, m, and x with m, x, and y from the ordered point that they give to me and solve for b. So I'm going to rewrite this equation, y equals mx plus b. In place of y, I'm going to put the y value in that they gave to me from the ordered pair, which is 1, equals, I'm going to replace the slope with the parallel slope that we said was 2, times, I'm going to replace this x with the x value from the ordered pair they gave me, -1, plus b. That's what I'm solving for. So I get 1 equals -2 plus b. I'm trying to get the b all by itself. So I need to add 2 to both sides, and I find out that b is equal to 3. Now let's write this equation. We're going to write it 2 ways. We're going to write it in slope-intercept form, and we're going to write it in standard form. So now I know my slope is 2, my y-intercept is 3. So slope-intercept form, that's easy. I just plug them in. So y equals mx, so instead of m, 2x, plus b instead of b plus 3. Now, standard form. Standard form, I want x and y on the same side of the equation, constant by itself. But the rule for standard form, your x must be a whole number and it must be positive. So standard form, x must be whole and positive. So our coefficient in front of x must be a whole number and a positive number. I see right now y equals 2x plus 3. My x is positive where it's at. So I'm going to leave it alone and move the y over. So if I take 2x plus 3, y equals that. I'm going to subtract y from both sides. Then I have 0 equals 2x minus y plus 3. I want to move my 3 over, so subtract 3. So I get negative 3 equals 2x minus y. The standard form says my x comes first. So by my symmetric property, I can flip everything and make it 2x minus y equals negative 3. That is standard form. 2x minus y equals negative 3. Those are the two versions of my equation. Slope-intercept and standard. Don't worry, we are going to practice some more of those. All right, example number 2. Write the equation of a line passing through the point 2, negative 3 that is parallel to the line y equals 6x plus 4. What is my slope of the line they give me? 6. What is my parallel slope? Again, parallel lines have the same slope. So my parallel slope is also 6. Take the point they gave me, 2, negative 3. Replace y equals mx plus b and solve for b. So in place of y, I'm going to put the y value they gave me, negative 3, equals our parallel slope, 6, times the x value from the point, 2, plus b. We want to solve this equation for b. So I have negative 3 equals 6 times 2 is 12, plus b. We want to know what does b equal. So subtract 12 from both sides. So b is negative 15. So now I'm going to come over here and write my two equations. My first one is the easy one, the slope-intercept. So y equals my slope 6x, my y-intercept minus 15. Again, now I want standard form. So I need to trade places with the y and the 15. So when I do that, I add 15 to the other side. So I get 15 equals 6x subtract y. But I want everything flipped. So by symmetric property, it's the same thing as saying 6x minus y equals 15. Standard form, slope-intercept form. You still don't have the hang of that, don't worry, because we're going to do some more examples. So next page of notes. This time it says write the equation of a line passing through the point 2, 3 and perpendicular to the line y equals negative 2x plus 2. Again, first identify what's the slope of the line they gave me, negative 2. This time I want the perpendicular slope. So let's recall from a couple of days ago, perpendicular lines have what kind of slope? Negative reciprocal. So that means I flip it and change the sign. So if I take negative 2 and I flip it, I get 1/2. Change the sign from negative to positive. So my perpendicular slope is positive 1/2. So just like the previous two examples, I take the point they gave me, 2, 3. Now my perpendicular slope of 1/2, I replace all of that and solve for b. So instead of y, I put 3 equals m, my perpendicular slope, 1/2 times x, 2 plus b. We want to solve this equation for b. So I have 3 equals, yay, look, fraction. 1/2 times 2. What's 1/2 times 2? Sadly, just 1. Our fraction went away. Plus b. Move the 1 to the other side, so I get 2 is equal to b. So now my equation in slope-intercept form, y equals 1/2 x plus 2. All right, standard form. Again, I'm going to trade places with the 2 and the y, and I get 1/2 x minus y equals -2. Remember when I told you that standard form, the x, the number in front of your x, your coefficient, had to be positive, and it had to be a whole number. I have a fraction in front of x. I have to get rid of that fraction. How do I get rid of a fraction? I only have to get rid of the denominator, not the numerator. So I multiply by the denominator. In this case, my denominator is 2. But remember, what I do to one thing in my equation, I have to do to everything. So I multiply my entire equation by the denominator 2. So I multiply it by 1/2 x, I multiply it by -y, and by -2. So this equation in standard form, 2 times 1/2 x turns to just x. 2 times -y minus 2y equals 2 times -2, -4. That is standard form. This was slope-intercept. Okay? All right. Yet another example for you of this. And again, hopefully this is a review from Algebra 1. You should have done this in Algebra 1, okay? Write an equation of a line passing through the point 3, -4, and perpendicular to the line y equals -1/2 x minus 1. So we start out, what's the slope of the line they give me? -1/2. What's our perpendicular slope? And remember, perpendicular means change the sign and flip it. So if I change the sign from -1/2, I get +1/2. Flip it. 1/2 flipped is 2 over 1. So my new slope is going to be 2. The point 3, -4. Plug into y equals mx plus b and solve for b. So what are we going to put in place of y? It's the y value of the ordered pair they gave us. -4 equals, what did we find the perpendicular slope to be? 2 times, what is the x value of the ordered pair they gave to us? 3 plus b. We want to solve this equation, so I get -4 equals 2 times 3, 6 plus b. Subtract 6 from both sides. -4 minus 6, -10 is equal to b. So now we're going to come up here, write the two equations. The first one is the easy one. Slope-intercept form, y equals 2x minus 10. Standard form, again, trade places with x and y, or sorry, with -10 and y. So I get 2x minus y equals 10. The number in front of x is positive and whole, so we are good. Okay. All right. Last thing that we have to look at is now learn how to write an equation if all that they give to me are 2 points. So number 1, find the slope. Number 2, use one of the points they gave you to find the y-intercept, and then write the equation. And again, we're going to write it in both standard form and slope-intercept form. So write the equation of the line through the given points. First one, points 5, 4, -2, 1. Find our slope. Remember our slope formula? M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So subtract my y. So 1 minus 4 over, subtract the x's, -2 minus 5. So on top, 1 minus 4 gets us -3 over 2 minus 5 turns to -7. I have a negative 3 and a negative 7. The two negatives cancel each other out and become positive 3 over 7. I cannot reduce that or simplify it in any way. So now I just need to pick one of my points. It doesn't matter if I pick 5, 4 or negative 2, 1. I will just pick the very first point that they gave to me, 5, 4. And we're going to do the exact same thing that we were doing up on the previous problems. Plug in the slope, plug in x and y, solve for b. So instead of y, I'm going to put 4 equals, instead of m, 3/7 times, instead of x, 5 plus b. All right, let's solve this. 4 equals 3/7 times 5, so I multiply 3 times 5 and I get 15 over 7 plus b. You guys already know that this problem is making me happy because we've got fractions, right? I need to move the 15/7 over, so subtract 15/7 from both sides. I have 4 over 1 minus 15 over 7 equals b. In order to work this out, I need a common denominator. Okay, so lots of review of fractions here. My common denominator is going to be 7. So I need them both to be over 7, right? So to get the 4, it was over 1, so I had to multiply by 7. What I do to the bottom, I have to do the top, so 4 times 7 is 28 on top. So now they have the same denominator. I simply subtract the numerators. 28 minus 15, 13 over 7 is my b. Okay. So now write the equation, slope-intercept form first. Y equals 3/7 x plus 13/7. What we just found, right? So now we're going to do standard form. Standard form, I'm going to trade places with the y and the 13/7. So I have 3/7 x minus y equals negative 13/7. I'm not standard form yet because what's wrong with the number in front of x? It's a fraction. I can't have a fraction for standard form in front of x. I can have a fraction anywhere else, just not in front of x. I have to get rid of the fraction. I only need to get rid of the denominator. So since I only need to get rid of the denominator, I only have to multiply everything by the denominator. So here my denominator is 7. So I'm going to multiply everything by 7. So don't forget, multiply all of them by 7. So when I multiply 3/7 times 7, the 7's cancel each other out, and I'm left with 3x, a whole number in front of x. That's what we needed. Negative y times 7 just gives me minus 7y. Negative 13/7 times 7. Again, the 7's cancel each other out because this 7's in the denominator, and I'm left with negative 13. All of our fractions went away. You see how sad I am, right? Slope-intercept, standard. Okay, let's do that again. So our last example for today, number 2, they give me the 2 points, 4, 6, and negative 7, 7. We need to find the slope. So m equals 7 minus 6 over negative 7 minus 4. We should be pros at finding the slope right now. On top, 7 minus 6 is 1. On the bottom, negative 7 minus 4 turns to negative 11. So my slope is negative 1/11. Pick one of those points. It doesn't matter which one. Again, I'll pick the first point, 4, 6. Plug this stuff in to y equals mx plus b to find the b value. So instead of y, I'm going to plug in the y for my ordered pair, 6. Equals, instead of m, negative 1/11 times, instead of x, for my ordered pair, 4 plus b. And I see I'm going to have fractions. So I have 6 equals negative 4/11 plus b. Add 4/11. So I end up with 6 plus 4/11 equals b. Again, I need a common denominator. This time it's 11, because this is like 6/1. Multiply top and bottom by 11. So 6 times 11 gets me 66/11. 66 plus 4, b is equal to 70/11. Write the two equations. The first one, slope-intercept, that's easy. Y equals my slope, -1/11 x, plus my b, 70/11. Now standard form, x and y need to be on the same side. Up to this point, we've been trading places with the b and the y, but notice this time my x is negative. I don't want a negative x. So I'm going to go ahead and move my x to the other side and make it say 1/11 x plus y equals 70/11. Now again, I'm not standard form yet because I have that fraction in front of x. To get rid of it, I only multiply by the denominator. The denominator is, okay, so the denominator that we're multiplying by is 11. Only multiply by 11. Multiply everything in here by 11. 1/11 x times 11. The 11's cancel, and I'm just left with 1x or x. 11 times y plus 11y equals 70/11 times 11. Again, the 11's cancel, and I'm left with 70. Again, how sad. All of our fractions went away. So standard form, this was our slope-intercept form. All right, so that's writing equations of lines. Again, should be a review from Algebra 1. I know it's been a while. Your assignment, again, is in Envision. It's already been assigned to you. It will be labeled as an Algebra 1 assignment. It says Algebra 1 2.3, but then I have written next to it 3.3 day 2, or sorry, 3.5 day 2. So in Envision, Algebra 1 2.3 / 3.5 day 2 assignment. Again, don't forget, once you complete it, take a screenshot of your score and upload it in Canvas for me, guys. That's where I'm grading everything, in Canvas while I'm gone. All right? I miss you all. I hope you're doing great and having a wonderful week. Bye.